Hey everybody, welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson,
I'm Mike Gamble.
And I'm Nick Kinzel.
and we're digging into the Kinzels classroom. We're going to be talking about the next round of the playoffs. Professor, take it away.
Saddle up, boys. Class is in session. Welcome back to another edition of Kinzel's Classroom here on the Stock Car Spectacle. Boys, the round of 16 is complete. It is time to move on to the round of 12. Four drivers will not be joining us. Those four drivers are seeing me after class today. That is Cole Custer, William Byron, Ryan Blaney, and Matty D. I'll be seeing them boys after class. They are the four not advancing to the round of 12. But now the round of 12 is upon us. Our tracks here consist of Las Vegas this weekend, Talladega, the Charlotte Roval. This is your wild card round right here, boys. This is where anything can happen. We can see some real surprises in this round.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think this is going to be your craziest round because, having a restrictor plate where anything and everything can happen in restrictor plate races, as far as we've seen just the same thing at the Roval. Anything and everything has happened at the Roval. So, going to these two tracks, and then a nice, fun, easy mile and a half snuck in there in Las Vegas. It's going to be a wild round, boys. Buckle up because it's going to get nuts.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, we started at Vegas. It's going to be nice and calm there. And then we go to Talladega where all hell breaks loose. If you're in the right place at the right time, you can win that damn race. You don't have to be a playoff driver to win that one. And then the Roval, we've seen before. Ryan Blaney captured it with the whole Jimmy Johnson Truex thing. And then Chase Elliott won it last year after he slammed into the wall. So really, I feel like anyone besides the top three guys in the points can be eliminated.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we're going to talk about today. As you know, for our viewers in the past, this is what we do at the beginning of each new round. We kind of take our preview here. We're going to figure out who's advancing and who's not advancing into the round of 8. So, Ian, you said it. I think guys, if Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, and Brad Keselowski are in phenomenal shape to advance into the round of 8, we're not going to be talking about those guys. But then from Joey Logano all the way down to Kurt Busch, that's up in the air because 21 points is what separates Kurt Busch right now from Joey Logano. So in these three races where anything could happen, you just don't know. So we're kind of just gonna go down the list and we're gonna see who do we think is going on and who do we think is going home. So we're gonna start. We're gonna start down in 12th. We're gonna start with Joey Logano here in 4th place, guys. Joey Logano, he's got some good tracks here for him. Las Vegas and Talladega is what I'm eyeing him at. Is Joey Logano advancing to the round of 8?
Oh, I think absolutely. I mean, we're going to Talladega, and we know that he is one of the strongest guys on restrictor plate races. He won earlier at Las Vegas. The Roval is going to be a little bit of wild card for him, but I think if he has a good Vegas and a good Talladega, he has no problem with advancing to the next round.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think, like you said, Ian, Talladega, Joey Logano's proven to be one of the better restrictor plate racers in NASCAR right now, or super speedway racers, whatever you'd like to call them.
Sorry, Dakota.
Sorry, Dakota. Yeah, and like we said, Las Vegas has been a very strong track here. 2 wins here in the last, or in his career, I should say. So, just, go out, do well at those 2 tracks, and I think he'll be in very good shape. And then the Roval won't even matter. He'll be locked into the round of 8 at that point. And I think that's almost the same argument for our next driver, too.
Yeah, I was going to say, going down the list, up next is the number 9, it's Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott's got good mile and a half speed, but it's the next 2 tracks where he's going to shine. He's a very good super speedway racer. He's won Talladega before, and he's won the Charlotte Roval before. He's last year's winner of, of the Charlotte Roval. So, boys, Chase Elliott, we can pretty much put him down as a lock to advance to the round of 8.
He's coasting into the next round, man. We know he's fast at the mile and a half, so I think he'll have a good Vegas. We know he's phenomenal at Talladega. He's got a few wins there, and he won the Roval last year, and he shows a lot of speed at the road courses with multiple wins at Watkins Glen and at the Daytona road course. So without a doubt, Chase Elliott's advancing.
Yeah, I have to agree here too, barring some crazy wreck in both the Roval and the Talladega race, which is obviously both entirely possible. But Ian, like you said, Chase Elliott, in my opinion, is the premier road course, and Roval course racer in NASCAR right now. I think he goes out and probably gets a win there. And then we said he's been very strong at Talladega in his career. I think he goes up there, runs up front, doesn't make any stupid mistakes, and stays up front out of people's messes, and he'll be in really good shape to advance as well.
All right. So number 6 is that 19 car, Martin Truex Jr. The speed for Martin Truex Jr. has been down this year. He's only been to victory lane one time this season, which is just unheard of. MTJ the past couple of years has absolutely dominated. His first track is Las Vegas here, and he's won here before. But it's kind of, and the Charlotte Roval he ran very well at as well when him and Jimmy got together. That was for the win. The only track that really concerns me with Truex is Talladega, and he does and points. He only has 9 playoff points right now, so he really can't afford to have a bad race here. Martin Truex Jr. Does he advance to the round of 8?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say Martin Truex advances as well. None of these are bad tracks for Truex. Like you said, Nick, he hasn't been lighting up the win column like he did a la 2018. But you know what? At the same time, though, he does have 2 wins in Vegas in his career. He has looked very sporty at restrictor plate racing or super speedway races in the past. Came very close to winning a Daytona 500 against Denny Hamlin. I think, was that 2016? Or was that 2017? Yeah, that was one of the really close ones. Yeah, it was 2016. And then, barring Jimmy Johnson doing Jimmy Johnson things, he probably wins a Charlotte Roval in the inaugural year. So I think he just goes out there and he hasn't really, lit up the scoreboard, but he hasn't been terrible either. Just be calm, cool, collected, consistent Martin Truex Jr. Don't make any mistakes on pit road. Don't have your newbie crew chief do anything stupid. Which I'm not saying he will, but just don't let those things happen. And I think you're in pretty good shape if you're the 19 team.
Yeah, I'd say Martin Truex Jr. I wouldn't say he's really slow this year. He's gotten countless second place finishes this year. He's been there, but I don't think he's going to have any issues in this round. Really, we saw he has speed at the mile and a half. He always dominates when we go to the mile and a halves. Talladega will be a little, I don't know, he could have trouble there. Anyone can get caught up at Talladega. And then, yeah, like you said, he's got speed at the Roval. He should have won at the inaugural race. So, yeah, I think he'll be fine going into the next round.
Okay, so far we have 6 out of the 8 spots taken up right now. So this is where it's going to start getting fun here as we go down the list even farther. So the next guy on my list here is that 88 car of Alex Bowman. So we all know the story of Alex Bowman. He started off the season red hot, and then once we went into break for COVID and came back, that speed has just not been there anymore. And I am honestly concerned for Alex Bowman in this round. I think this could be his heartbreak round right here. I mean, he hasn't shown much speed at these mile and a half this year. Talladega, I think, is going to be his best race because those Hendrick Chevys always tend to run up front. Alex Bowman's really fast on the super speedway races, and then he was all right at the Charlotte Roval last year. He needed that race to advance. So, but this is the round where I think Alex Bowman gets eliminated. So, guys, is he advancing to the round of 8? I'll start with Mike.
No, I don't think Alex Bowman advances to the round of 8. Like you said, Nick, I think these are tracks that could be very troublesome for him. He hasn't shown as much mile and a half speed as we've seen in the past. He's kind of stumbled here as of late. Restrictor plates is another place he seems to always get caught up in somebody else's mess, although the Hendrick speed will usually put them out front at times. And although he was surprisingly fast at times in the Charlotte Roval last year, he also, if you remember, wasn't that the race him and Bubba had their deal where they got into it. So we've already seen that childishness from him, I should say, where he got caught up fighting with somebody that had no business fighting on the racetrack, and almost cost him his playoffs last year. So I think Alex Bowman is going to be on the outside looking in after this round.
Yeah, Mike, I'm going to have to agree with you there. Like you said, Nick, Bowman started off the season hot. He got that win at Auto Club. He was looking really, really good, and then COVID happened. He looked really good at the first race back at Darlington when he was fighting with Kevin Harvick, but after that, he really hasn't shown any race-winning speed at all, and we're going to some pretty tough tracks, so I do not see the 88 advancing.
All right. So Alex Bowman, the Stock Car Spectacle says you are not advancing, bud. So
Walk the plank.
you off the plane. So next on the list, this is another driver that I worry about. It's a 3-car of Austin Dillon. Austin Dillon was very racy and very fast in the first round of the playoffs. That's because those were we had 2 short tracks, and then Darlington, he surprised us all there. But I personally don't think we're going to see the same thing out of Austin Dillon in this round because the mile-and-a-half speed still really isn't there for him. Las Vegas, he only has 2 career top 10s here. We're moving into this is to get into the round of 8 here. This is where you're going to have to start seeing your top 5, top 7 runs, in my opinion. I just don't think we're going to get that from Austin Dillon. I think his best shot is Talladega. He's a very good super speedway racer. And then the Charlotte Roval, he does not have a top 20 finish there yet. So he does not run very well there. So Austin Dillon, guys, is the magical run going to continue for this 3-car, or does it come to an end?
You know, Austin Dillon, he had a fantastic round of 16. He looked very, very sporty in some very difficult races. But we're now in the round of 12. The competition it's turned up now. You got some of the best running. You know, you had guys like Cole Custer, William Byron, and like Matt DiBenedetto, Ryan Blaney, a lot of young guys. But here, you're with the veterans. I don't think that speed is going to keep up. I think he's going to fall and not advance to the next round.
See, I have to agree, but at the same time, I will just put this disclaimer out there. I don't feel overly confident in that either. We don't know where the speed all of a sudden in this form has come from with this 3 team, so we don't know if there's more of it going forward. All we can say is, in the past, mile and a halves have not been his forte. Sure, he got the win this year at Texas, but I don't think this is a super strong track for him in Las Vegas. I think the biggest thing that could play to Austin Dillon advancing, if it were to happen, would be, key guys in front of him having wrecks at Talladega and the Roval, and then him just, being smart and safe and kind of skating in. Like you said, Nick, I think his best chance to just lock the advancement in right away would be a win at Talladega. But, he's that restrictor plate and super speedway races are a crapshoot. You don't know what you're going to get. So he could easily be wrecked out by the second stage, as well as he could easily be, going for the checkered flag at the end of the race. So I'm going to very tentatively and cautiously say no, Austin Dillon will not advance, but I could also see him advancing as well.
No, yeah, it was definitely a tough one for me to figure that out too.
Yeah, he's like the X factor.
That's just it. Look at the points. Nobody really has points carrying into this round. They just don't. It's just not there. Like I said, from 4th all the way down to 12th is separated by 21 points. Anything could happen in this round. Austin Dillon, it's a really tough choice, but I'm going to say no too. So Austin Dillon, Stock Car Spectacle says you are not advancing to the round of 8.
See you, bud.
So here's the next guy that we're going to talk about. He could be the one who could spoil and get himself into the round of 8, I think. And this is where we're going to talk about the 10-car of Aric Almirola here. Aric Almirola, he has 17 top 10s this year, so he's accustomed to kind of running well at these mile-and-a-half racetracks since he joined Stewart-Haas Racing. And then Talladega, he won that race 2 years ago to advance into the round of 8, so we could very well see something like that again. Almirola's fast there. And then Charlotte Roval, that could kind of be a mixer for him. He is not the best road course racer per se, but who knows? That's a wild card race in itself right there. So guys, Aric Almirola, is he advancing to the round of 8?
You know what, Aric Almirola, we're going to Talladega. You said it. He won it a few years ago in the fall. I'd say with that race, if he doesn't win it, he's going to finish very, very well. He's one of, we've talked about, he is one of the best restrictor plate racers out there. We've seen him do very well. And then the Roval's a wild card. That's going to be a tough one, but Eric Almirola has really, really surprised us this year with the kind of speed that he has shown. He hasn't really won any races, but he has showed very, very competitive speeds this year. So, yeah, I will see him advancing to the round of 8.
For the first time in this show, I'm going to have to go ahead and disagree. I think Eric Almirola does not move on. My logic for that is, first and foremost, the only racetrack on here that I see being a plus for him is Talladega. He's not very good at Las Vegas. Out of all his races here, he's only got 3 top 10s and an average finish outside of the top 20. That's just not going to get it done in this round. If past performance is going to be an indicator of future performance, that's just not going to get it done here. I don't think he's the kind of road course racer that gets himself in ahead of some of these guys. Like, think about it, guys, where we're at in the race or in the season here. You're gonna have to be battling for top 10s and top 5s. I don't know if Eric Almirola does that with a road course in there as well, and a mile and a half that hasn't been favorable to him in his career. I think his best chance, also like Austin Dillon, is to win at Talladega or have a great run at Talladega and just try to squeak in. I just don't see it happening. I think he gets eliminated. I don't think we see Eric Almirola advance to the round of 8.
It's, with the drivers that we have remaining left with, oof, man, yeah, that's a tough one. He's kind of like an Austin Dillon for me. It can go one of 2 ways. I'm gonna say it doesn't advance. You can't really bank yourself on having to win Talladega to advance in a playoff round here. It's time to show up for Eric Almirola. He's looked good at times this year, but mile and a half speed, it's just not there for him. Yeah, you don't want to have to go in there and say I have to go win Talladega to advance here, because I don't see him get it. He's run awful on the Charlotte Roval, so I don't see that either. So Eric Almirola, sorry, bud, you're not advancing. So that brings this guy. This will be an interesting one up next. This is the 18 car of Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch squeaked on by there in the first round. He looked good. He could have won Bristol if Joey Logano wasn't in his way, but that's short track racing, bud. Sorry to say it. So for Kyle Busch, he said it multiple times in his post race interviews. Well, it doesn't even matter. He doesn't care about any of these races because he is not advancing to the round of 8, is what he continues to say. So, guys, does Kyle Busch advance to the round of 8?
Yeah, I don't believe that for a second. Kyle Busch advances to the round of 8. He's Kyle Busch. The year hasn't been great to him, but when push comes to shove and it hits the fan, he finds a way to get it done. You know, Obviously Las Vegas is his home track. I think he goes there, and I think he'll find some speed and find a way to have a solid finish there. You don't think of him as a super great restrictor plate racer, a super speedway racer, but he's not terrible either. I could see him having a decent enough run that he keeps himself in contention going into the Roval. And same thing, I just think he finds a way to stay where he needs to stay at the Roval and punches his ticket to the round of 8. I don't think he's gonna light the world on fire, kind of like Austin Dillon did in the round of 16 and put everybody on notice. Like, man, look at this guy. But I think he finds a way to make it into the round of 8.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with you there. I think this is going to be the round where hell breaks loose for Kyle Busch. Yeah, maybe he'll have a good Vegas run, but we're going to Talladega. We're going to the Roval. There is so much unpredictability that is going to happen in this round. And Kyle Busch, he just has not looked like Kyle Busch this year. So I can see some crazy shit happening. Not saying it's going to be because of his performance. It's going to be because he's going to be involved in something, and possibly in Talladega and the Roval. So sorry to all the KB fans, Connor, Dalton. Rowdy will not advance to the round of 8. I mean, he said it himself.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you, Ian. I think this is the round we see Kyle Busch get eliminated in. Las Vegas earlier this year, the speed just wasn't there for the 18 team. He walked away 15th in that one. Yeah, Talladega, he got in a wreck and finished 32nd, but he looked really good there all day. But I just don't think that he's going to get it done in Talladega. And then Charlotte Roval, you just don't know. He's a pretty solid road course racer, but in the end, Kyle Busch, this has not been a great Kyle Busch season, and he's going to be the guy. I don't think he's going to advance. He just does not. He doesn't get the stage points. He doesn't get. He doesn't get the playoff points that he needs. He's not going out there winning stages, and I think that's going to be crucial to advancing here in the round of 8. Is running up there in the top 3. I don't see it from Kyle Busch this round. I think he's right from what he said in his post race interviews. I don't think he's advancing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not going to fight you guys on that one either and think, oh man, he's definitely advancing. If we find out that he's the bed at Las Vegas and he's really relying on Talladega and the Roval, I wouldn't be surprised either. The way the season's gone for them either. So, kind of like I said with Austin Dillon, that's when I could very much so see being like an X factor pick. He could remind himself that he's KFB and just come up and put everybody. I was like, oh, Kyle's back. He could skate in, and I could also see him getting eliminated. So
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, Kyle Busch not advancing. So moving on, 14 car of Clint Boyer. So Clint has had the shakiest of shakiest seasons here. It just seems like it always goes to seem to hit the fan for that 14 car. There's been times where he's run up front, but he's only got 10 top 10s this year and 2 top 5s. I just don't know if that's going to be enough to cut it for him. Clint has Talladega success, and he's got a ton of road course racing success. So I think he could be a guy who could be like your sleeper surprise pick in this round. What do you guys think, Clint Boyer in the round of 8?
I'm gonna go with no for Clint Boyer, just because, yeah, like you said, Nick, he hasn't been a bad road course racer in his career, and obviously he's been pretty solid at the super speedway races at times too. But it's the opposite of the Kyle Busch thing, where you always think he's going to find a way to turn it on and just get it done and do what he needs to do to advance. Every time Clint Boyer has something going for him, you just feel like you're in a Looney Tunes cartoon and the anvil is going to fall out of the sky and smack him in the head. It's like, what's going to happen here? Where's the piano going to fall from on top of you? So, I feel bad, so bad saying, because I love Clint. He's a great guy, a great ambassador for the sport, and just so much fun. But he just, man, the racing gods do not look down favorably on him for whatever reason. So, with the way these wacky playoffs are designed, sometimes you do need a little luck to go your way. And that never happens for Clint Boyer. So, no, I can't see him advancing.
Couldn't have said it any better, bud. I'm right there with you. I do not see Clint Boyer advancing. I mean, we've talked about it pretty much all season long. Bad luck, Boyer. He just every time it looks like he's having a good run, he might get something. He gets involved in something. His something happens with his car. It just seems to happen all the time in 2020. I'm surprised that he actually made it into the round of 12 just with how much bad luck this guy has.
Well,
But
it's because Matthew Benedetto and Ryan Blaney decided to ship the bed in the playoffs.
well,
That's
yes.
the worst races ever. So that really helps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do not see the 14 going to the next round. I love the guy. I'm right there with you, Mike, but that 14 just has not either had any speed or luck this year.
I don't know. I feel like each year in the NASCAR playoffs, you're due for one surprise sleeper pick. And if anyone's going to do it, I think it is going to be the 14 car Clint Boyer. I just think that this round is going to suit him well with those two kind of wild card races. So I'm going to have the 14 car advancing to the round of 8 because I think he's going to have a solid round here. He's going to be my sleeper surprise pick for this year's playoffs. So that brings us down to our last guy here. He's sitting 12th right now. It's a one-car Kurt Busch. So when you talk about a guy like Kurt Busch in Cincinnati Racing, race winning speed just isn't there for that team. But Kurt is just built on consistent runs, and I think that's what's going to get Kurt into the round of 8. I do per se seeing him advance into the round of 8.
Yeah, I already picked my 4 guys to be eliminated. So Kurt Busch is advancing. We're going to his home track of Las Vegas. Hasn't really, showed a lot of winning speed lately there at Vegas, but I'm hoping that something turns on for him there and gets a win at his home track. And then we're going to Talladega. We know that Kurt is really, really good at the super speedways. He only has one win, but he's always been the bridesmaid when we come to either Talladega or Daytona. So if he doesn't get involved in anything there, I think he'll be good. And then the Roval, I feel like it's really a wild card for everyone. It is such a wild track, but I think Kurt is going to have smooth round of 12. Like you said, he is very, very consistent, and I think he's going to keep that throughout this whole round.
Yeah, I agree. I had Kurt Busch also advancing into the round of 8. Ian, just like you said, we're going to a 1.5-mile track in Las Vegas, which is in his backyard growing up, being a Las Vegas boy, a lot like Kyle. Then we go on to Talladega, which we know he is a pretty decent speedway racer, being a Daytona 500 champion. He always finds a way. Yep, Ian, you want to duck down so we can see the flag in the background?
There you go.
There we go. There's the proof. Proof's in the pudding, boys and girls. But he's a good road course racer too. He in the 2 races here at the Roval, he does have a top 5 here, and he did take the pole, if you folks remember as well. So he's fast here. So I think you've got multiple tracks that are pretty favorable for him. And with it being such a crapshoot with the points being the way they are, him being a veteran driver, a Cup champion, knowing what it takes to get it done, I think he finds a way to get it done and move on to the next round.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there we have it, guys. So our picks are in. This should be a very exciting round. This is going to be like the craziest round of the playoffs, minus the championship race. I mean, this round is just built for like the wild card. But I think we're going to see some upsets here. I think we're in for a treat. So, if you guys don't have anything else to say, class dismissed.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the Stock Car Spectacle. You make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure to check us out on all podcast platforms. You can find me, Nick, and Mike on Twitter and Instagram, along with the Stock Car Spectacle accounts. Make sure to check out our friend Patrick Cotto with the Cotto's Mojo. We were on last week talking football, baseball, and NASCAR, so make sure to check out that. And so that will do it for us. So for the Stock Car Spectacle, I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Mike Gamble.
And I'm Nick Kinzel.